Welcome back to the HGC. Team Liquid and Roll20 are currently facing off. Team Liquid is up 2-0. And Roll20, man, they're having a tough time. It kind of makes me remember a band named Green Day. They need to wake up before September ends.
I like it. I mean, September just started. So
Yeah.
you should have waited with that a little bit more, but still, I like it a lot.
HGC ends at the end of September, so they got to wake up, get some wins. Works.
Yeah, I mean,
Wrong joke.
it's still August, dude. Yeah, it's like chill.
Like 2 more days in August. August is done, man.
Still counts.
Well,
But seriously, if you're a Team Liquid fan, you're pretty happy with what you're watching right now. They're not only winning, but they are dominant. And if you're a Roll20 fan, you should be worried because they never really came in with the goal of saying, okay, we're going to take down Team Liquid today. I don't think that was ever really on the agenda outside of them having an outstanding day where things just flow together. But the goal was be competitive, show that what was tried out in scrims really works. And right now, I want to say that Roll20 is pretty far away from that. This series is just not competitive in any way.
Yeah.
And that's a bit disturbing because I didn't really expect Roll20 to come in here and say, okay, we're going to take this today. I expected something along the lines where if they get a map win, that would already be a huge step forward. If they can secure 2, that would even better. But even from the losses, I expected them to try and be a bit more on eye level with Team Liquid in a lot of these team fights. And it's just not happening. There's a lot of mistakes where I think, okay, this is clear communication and coordination problems that I would have expected in part 1 of Phase 2. But where I say going into part 2 of Phase 2, I would have liked to see that by now solved.
at least have a command in portions of the game, but it doesn't even feel like they even have that when it comes to both of these battlegrounds, or even last week when they were playing. They're having a really difficult time getting anything running. On the other side, for me, Team Liquid, I'm kind of disappointed that we get this level of play from them on offline play or online play last week and this week, but we didn't get this at the Western Clash. Where was this Team Liquid when it comes to a LAN environment?
It's a really good question, and I mean, it's a question of do they choke too much on LAN events?
Yeah.
Because in Kiev, similar things happened than what we just had in Burbank, so Western Clashes in the recent past were not really a great environment for Team Liquid. Then again, the performance that they have now with Arcana taking over some of the draft responsibilities and also taking care of some of the research into the opponent that we're seeing here, it shows that it works well. So that gives me a bit more hope if they attend the next offline event that they can also translate it into an offline environment. Because a lot of the problems that they had at the Western Clash, talking to them after they dropped out, was that they just simply had one brain fart after another, where they moved in and all of a sudden snap picked something that they didn't even practice because they felt pressured into it.
Yeah.
So it felt a little bit panicky, they explained it that way. And they themselves said, we don't even know what happened here. Like, why we don't know why we did that, and we are heavily embarrassed by how we presented ourselves here. But this is the Team Liquid that people want to see. This is looking fantastic what they're playing right now.
Well, we'll see if this play can net them a full 3-0 over the Roll20 Esports on the right side. Gonna have my ad band out, Sergeant Hammer as well. Similar openings to game number 2. It's gonna be an Abathur ban.
Where does Diablo land on this map? Where does Thrall land? Those are questions, again, that I personally have for this series right now. Liquid has played Deckard Cain and Diablo a lot on this map. So with Diablo not being picked up by Roll20, I expect Deckard Cain to be picked by Team Liquid immediately on this lineup in the 1-2.
Keep moving to Muradin here. Do you grab that early?
I don't even think that they have to commit to Muradin or the frontline this early. There's the Thrall.
Oh, wow.
And Alex Strasser over Deckard Cain works as well. Also a lot of zone control. Deckard Cain more so the idea of really sealing your opponent in place when they're trying to move to the choke points. Alex Strasser, of course, gives them control on the point as well. They have played her 3 times here so far. 2 wins, 1 loss. We saw Alex Strasser do really well for them on the last map, so I can absolutely get behind this pick too. Expected Deckard Cain, but I'm also very happy with Alex Strasser as a pick. But Thrall early on, since they realized that Roll20 might contest it.
You get Blaze here. Yep, there's Blaze, and then we'll go into Hanzo. I was wondering about Deckard Cain for Roll20 Esports. But they're going to look to have the Explosive Arrow and the ability to engage. And they do have the ability to engage, that's for sure. Dragon's Arrow, Diablo picking that target. Yeah, Blaze to follow up with the jet propulsion. And, of course, the safety of the fight. Phoenix gets banned out. Wondering if that was going to be another pickup for Roll20 Esports. In fact, I probably would have maybe moved into that instead of Hanzo here. But with it being banned out, Team Liquid will keep that away from anyone here, as Roll20 Esports are thinking about their ban.
Deckard Kane actually doesn't really shock me too much that he's still left open, because we have this tendency on Roll20 that they play Stukov, which of course Shad made a name for himself at the Western Clash that we saw in Katowice. And therefore, if you ban out Deckard, they are going to go into Stukov, or at least they are very likely going to head into Stukov next. So going for Phoenix as a ban instead to deny some synergy with Diablo, and also Phoenix's ability to get a bit more AoE damage onto the Shrine outside of the auto attacks against single targets. That's something that I really like from a decision-making point.
It's going to be a Johanna for Team Liquid, a safe tank. It's going to be ETC and Raynor. ETC they showed last week as a side laner in the triple melee composition, so that still is an option.
Exactly, which they still can do here. They can run Thrall on that side lane, or they can play with ETC again and then go into another tank. And that's the beauty of this. They can run ETC as a main tank and push into something else on the last pick, or they can just get a hit point heavier tank here. And it all depends on what Roll20 does now. Are they going to throw some kind of curveball? What's the strategy here?
Whitemane and Kel'Thas.
I like Kel'Thas.
Don't like Whitemane though.
Whitemane has a tough time. She has been played 7 times in Europe and she lost 6 times. The only time she won was when Dignitas played her on this map.
She did not have a very good debut. Stitches for the 5th pick coming in for Team Liquid.
Well, the beauty of ETC, and that's something that some people haven't experienced, haven't been part of the HGC scene at the time, or just simply have forgotten, is that ETC as a solo laner is actually pretty decent, simply because he's level 7 with Echo Paddle, gives him some wave clear, so he can hold the solo lane. You spec into stage dive, and all of a sudden you have a very Dehaka-esque hero that can hold the global, can get you the extra experience, and then always has the opportunity to dive into the team fight. And if you feel that in any setup you all of a sudden need more CC, your opponent doesn't have interrupts, you can still spec into Mosh Pit here.
His ability to also deny regen globes from your opponent is a great tool to have. Even in the early game, being able to power slide that knockback at the last second to steal away regen globes builds into your prog rock. He's actually a bit of a bully in lane.
Not only for the regen globes, I mean, we're talking about a Stitches composition here. A simple hook, you hook a target in, you power slide through, push it back. There's just no way to escape from that position, even without Thrall. And if he's in the mix, you get another Feral Spirit to follow it up to lock him even farther down. So the lockdown potential, CC that we see on Team Liquid's side to just really slam someone in the ground is fantastic here for Team Liquid.
Over on the side of Roll20, they do have some durability though, so they'll have to watch out for that as we move straight into game number 3. Team Liquid is up 2-0. On the left side, Robodoba playing Diablo, Quatnix on Hanzo, Zarmony on Blaze, Chris on Kel'Thas, and Shad to play Whitemane. Can we get a second victory in the HGC Europe?
We're going to find out if Whitemane is going to find some success. Team Liquid, they are going to try and find a third win with Norok currently on Alexstrasza. Again, Arcana this time finds himself on Raynor. Eternal on ETC, which puts Sportbilly on the Stitches, and Hazorps on Thrall. So having that triple melee setup again for Team Liquid. The very, very aggressive and CC-heavy composition here at the front, and a lot of good targets for Sportbilly and his Stitches. He wants to go for Kel'Thas, for Whitemane, and even Hanzo can be an easy kill if they get that setup.
Stitches gets engaged upon, the heals come out, there's a circle from Nurok, Robodoba's the focus, Arcana working the auto attack, and there's going to be the pick. Team Liquid walks away bruised, but Roll20 loses 1.
Great attempt though at getting the kill, but the hook comes in, and the double kill as Blaze is eliminated shortly after Diablo fell. Good counter action here from Hanzo though, gets at least a 2-for-1 trade.
But Sportbilly seems to be on a mission these last couple of weeks. His tank play has been exceptional on every single tank that he's brought in.
I mean, to be fair, also one of the things that really happened here is that with Diablo engaging without having souls and with a low hit point pool, it was easy for Team Liquid to dominate a lot of that early fights just simply because they have that CC amount through Eternal and Hazorps. So that really helped them there. But you're absolutely right when you say that about Sportbilly. His tank play is just getting better and better.
Roll20 immediately head straight over to their camps and start to clear that out. Level 1 pickup for Whitemane is going to be that Clemency, looking to heal her teammates there with the Inquisition, being able to really just kind of stand still and provide heals. It is something that you have to be worrisome about. You do just kind of stand there and you can't be picked off, but it's a pretty solid talent if you're just trying to make sure that you keep your teammates nice and healthy.
Yeah, the cooldown reduction, the passive one, really helps a lot, and of course it helps you also with targeted heals here. We've seen a lot of desperate plea builds, so that's the second variation that we see on Whitemane. But again, she hasn't really found success yet, at least not in Europe. 1 victory, 6 losses. It's not the biggest sample size at this point, but it already gives you a bit of a trend.
Therno comes in for a power slide, rotating from that top lane. Finds no one to pick off, though, but Sportbilly, he finds something. He drops down a hook. Immediate follow-up from Hasselhoff with the Wolf.
And you can already tell that Roba here needs to be very careful, and this is already a pretty big statement. If you put your opponent's Diablo really on notice, we've seen how Diablo can really bully someone in the last game because of that draft, but now him going up against that triple melee setup with all that CC, even a lot of Terra, has to be very careful, especially when he's not stacked yet on his soul quest.
Speaking of the stacks, it's currently sitting at 28. Shrine activates. We'll be in the middle lane. Night Camp has been prepped on the left side by Roll20 Esports, and they're actually going for an aggressive invade on the camp in the top right, but Eternal, he's here, and so is Hasselhoff. Eternal controls space, goes in for the power slide. Here comes Harmony.
Diablo is in, and that might be a kill against Eternal, and they get it. Roba is alive and walks away, but the problem is everyone else has also to escape, and that hook is coming just from left field here. The root follow-up is ready, but Diablo still survives through all of it. The camp, though, taken by Team Liquid.
The best part, too, is that the Dragon was actually popped by Team Liquid, which means their Shrine control isn't as strong as it would normally be.
There's another problem, though. With the early kill against Thrall, we have only 11 stacks on Hazops here for Team Liquid right now, so that's a bit of an issue. Normally, at the first objective, you want to have that quest completed, and the Echo of Elements is just not done yet, and that means that you don't have that second charge of your Lightning.
Roll20 steps up and looks to control that Shrine. Looking into Whitemane, level 4 comes in, moving into the High Inquisitor, actually, which again gives you that mana refund and also resets all of your stacks of Desperation.
I mean, there's a lot of really good talents here on level 4 online, but definitely the Desperation, removing all of the stacks is important for Whitemane, just simply because mana can be a huge problem. Mana management is going to be a bit more easier now here for Shad. Kel'Thas on level 4 went straight into the Netherwind, as you would expect here. Kel'Thas is going to have a pretty big impact on a lot of these fights with the AoE that he provides. And I'm curious to see what the level 7 talent is going to be for Kel'Thas, because there's still a bit of a discussion of what the better choice is. In this case, we're seeing Chris actually speccing again into Burn Flash, but we've already seen a lot with the auto attack focus, especially on the Korean side.
Love that auto attack talent, getting 2 charges of it, allows you to kind of burst from as far, play it safe. But again, Burn Flesh can be great against multiple melees, and there are a lot there for Team Liquid. Hook gets in from Sportbilly, as Chris gets tucked underneath the forward, but Zarmni is there to help him out with Shad coming over and providing the heals.
Absolutely fantastic hook here. Sportbilly's positioning has been so on point, and he really threatens Kel'Thas' life. But of course, with Gravity Labs being there, you have some CC to at least buy yourself some time, and that gave enough for Blaze to move in and follow it up with the jet propulsion. I also want to highlight again the level 7 talent that we have for Blaze, in case that you haven't seen the Eastern Clash. That's where Crossfire all of a sudden came online. Eastern and Western Clash, both of these events, we all of a sudden saw the build on Blaze adjust a lot.
All this being said, think about game 1 and game number 2. Roll20 found themselves in a spot where they were a level behind Team Liquid. Moving into game number 3, they have held their own and in fact find themselves half a level over their opponents. So Roll20, that break seemed to have helped them out.
The first objective definitely really helped here for Roll20. So at this point, maybe it was the break, as you said. They just find a bit more of a rhythm and a bit more synergy. Now, we're not on level 10 yet, but this is definitely looking a lot more what I expected heading into the match than what we saw in game 1, game 2. So let's see how Roll20 is running that into the mid-game now.
Going to the next Shrine phase that spawns soon, Team Liquid will have that Dragon Queen. That's the one element they were missing in the first fight around the Shrine. Obviously, well played by Roll20 Esports with that coordinated gank in the top right corner to find a pick, but also to get that Dragon Queen popped in. But as we continue to keep moving forward, we're getting to a spot where Roll20 might actually have their 10s over Team Liquid, that Shrine spawning in. Team Liquid hoping to soak up as quickly as they can to get their 10. I
really wonder a bit what it's just going to go for. I would expect Putrid Bile for Shrine control, but there's always, of course, the chance that you are going to see the Gorge and then follow-ups through stuns to get a target isolated and taken down. But normally, with a setup like this, the idea is control the area around the shrine, try to get that AoE in, and Putrid Bile is fantastic for that.
It just gives you the protection, too, for both Nurok and Raynor, who are attempting to be as safe as they can, not to get caught in the back line. You drop that Bile, and Diablo's not going to charge to that, or he'll get locked into place, and you'll have that level 1 being procced by Raynor. So you could definitely see that Bile come in, but wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a change-up when it comes to Gore to see what Team Liquid is planning to pick up here. ETC should be Stage Dive. Sitting on the sideline, this soaking is always a solid play to pick up. There it is, Stage Dive comes in, and Hyperion actually for Raynor.
Yeah, we see a lot of AoE damage coming out of both teams now. Putrid Bile, Hyperion locked in on the side of Team Liquid, and then you look over to Roll20 and you see the Lightning Breath and also Phoenix taken over Pyroblast here for Kalthas. So a lot of this really just hinging on AoE abilities, trying to set something up here. Whitemane, on the other hand, going for the Divine Reckoning.
Ooh, looking for the extra damage. The entire build here for Whitemane is very safe. You sit from behind, you drop down the heals when you need to, and then if you want to, drop down the damage in the middle of a major fight as Diablo goes in. Here's the Lightning Breath, Thrall is the target, Shad stepping up, here's the arrow too.
And immediately the Earthquake, Quacknix is low, and ETC with a power slide into the Putrid Bile. Shad is in trouble, and he's not the only one. The bunker on the ground is keeping Team Liquid alive, as we are seeing Zarmany isolated from the team, but he's barely able to move out of this. The hook against Quacknix low is just a little bit too much for Hanzo to handle, as Raynor goes in with the last hit.
Man, if Roll20 had a little more damage there, it may have secured a kill on Team Liquid. Chris landing a 3-man gravity lapse, but Team Liquid able to stop the major engage that happened from Roll20 and turn around the fight, thanks to Stage Dive.
But that fight went wild.
Yes,
I mean,
it was
everyone
everywhere.
just like popped their ults. And you just, at the middle of the fight, you look over at the heroic cooldowns, and every single one of them was thrown out. They really went for it. At the beginning, there was still a bit of coordination problems, but for a long time, it looked as if Roll20 might even get a kill here. It was just that hook that we saw towards the end against Hanzo, against Sportbilly, that really made the difference.
Now we'll give them a Punisher. Team Liquid starts to push in the bottom lane, and they start to take a lead in this game as they jump up to 12.5 in experience, grabbing Mercamps as well. ETC can start to peel off too. He has Stage Dive up again as Team Liquid starts to command.
Top lane, that's where Blaze is currently still getting some experience for his own team. And they're not too far behind. I mean, right now, this defense at the bot lane should be pretty easy for Quacknix, so he shouldn't really have a lot of trouble dealing with the Punisher here. Liquid is rotating over into the mid lane instead and is at least trying to break through the wall, get a bit more experience, try and get to level 13. But a long-distance arrow is coming through.
It's going to be a combo on a Stitches too. Gets underneath the turret, but he's able to back up. Future Bio will allow him to speed forward. Bunker gets dropped in the back right.
Yeah, Hanzo is not with him here. Eternal nearly falling here, but they're going for Zarmany, and Blaze goes down. I'm not 100% sure what the thought process was here. It really felt to me that Hanzo had his arrow and was like, okay guys, we can throw the ult out right now because it will be ready for the next shrine phase anyways. So if Team Liquid tries to push in through the mid lane, I'm going to set an arrow up. You guys can try and maybe see if Diablo grabs someone and pushes them in. But that we had them go this deep afterwards was a bit surprising. I don't mind the arrow. I don't mind them trying to see if they can maybe make something happen. But did they engage this deep into a 4 versus 5 with a talent disadvantage was a bit weird to say the least.
I wonder who would be the one to say, okay, we shouldn't go for this pick. Because you had the gravity lapse that followed up afterwards, right? Into the Dragon's Arrow, you had the target, and you had a couple of moments to decide, does Diablo want to fully engage here? And he went for the actual engage and tried to toss Stitches underneath the turret, but Team Liquid was prepared and ready to go on all fronts. It even seemed like there was a chance for Diablo to get picked up.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird. But then again, I mean, it could have been a kill against ETC too. It was really close there.
No.
It's just they went a bit too deep for it. I think it's tempting once that the arrow really connects from that distance. And once more, throwing the arrow out is not an issue because you see it ready again already. So it's like there's no problem here whatsoever. But yeah, it's a tempting spot. Just to put it like that. That's one of those situations where you can definitely say, okay, in the heat of the moment, it's tough. Kena, again, in a bit of trouble here. Here comes the Lightning Breath. They're going for that back line. Stage Dive comes in. Doesn't hit too much, but the follow-up is there against Chris. And Chris trying to move out, but the Putrid Bile is making it difficult for him. Whitemane keeping Kalthas alive for a long time here. And there's a lockdown against Sportbilly. Immediate follow-up and Stitches is gone. Great moves by Roll20.
Yeah, really keeping KT alive. Whitemane providing the heals. Diablo, of course, was picked up. He has to respawn now. Blaze will attempt to go for another engage there, but stopped by the Wolf immediately. So Team Liquid, it does trade out 1-for-1, gets a little bit of damage on that keep. But very bold play from Team Liquid, diving into the middle keep when the first keep was still alive on the bottom left.
I mean, there's definitely a couple of moments where Roll20 is just looking so much better right now. So this is more coordination as we could expect it. It really just feels for them, it would make sense to move away from snowbally maps that are just like too snowbally. Tomb of the Spider Queen, Volskaya are usually very decided. I don't want to say decided very early on, but normally early on you can, as the team that wins the first objective, establish a lead in the game that is very hard to break through.
Yeah.
And that felt like something that Roll20 struggles with. This is more so a map where you're a little bit more on par with your opponent. So right now Liquid is still running that show in the mid game after level 10 abilities came on. But Roll20 is definitely showing signs of improvement a lot. This is more what I expected heading into this match from all games. And so far we're getting in the third one. But this is something where I can see Roll20 winning a team fight.
Now with that being said, we've been seeing a little bit of improvement here and there, but we're also getting these weird elements of surprise that they're attempting to pull off. It's twice now in this series. We had one on game number 2, where we had the Sundering to try and push somebody into a fight. Decisions need to be decided sometimes in the flow of a fight that need to be decided by whoever is either the main tank or the main shot caller to back up. Because it seems like they say, okay, let's fully commit to this idea, and they fully commit, and there's no moment where if the opposing team handles it well, will they stop and back away. I think that's the next area of improvement for them. They need to figure out who that person is, who becomes their anchor to stop those moments from happening.
I mean, you're alluding to the Arrow situation. This is really one of those where I feel that's one of those things where it's tense in the moment the arrow connects, and all of a sudden you get a little bit too greedy.
You gotta have that clarity, you know? It's like, not quite the moment we need.
ETC was so low that I can see the thought process there, because he nearly fell. It was nearly a 1-for-1 trade. But then you have Blaze in, and of course there's the displacement. ETC pushes someone in, you have a hook coming through, and then even with Bunker, they can't keep him alive. If you think about that later on in hindsight and you look at the replay, you're like, why?
Yeah.
Arrow is good. If you don't get the immediate kill, just leave it. But we engaged into a 4 versus 5 outside of turret range with the time disadvantage. I mean, duh, you don't want to do that. But in that one moment when it just happens, you have that juicy target just in reach.
And you think, I can get this pick.
Yeah, if you just can push him into the towers, if Diablo gets the flip and gets the push, and then all of a sudden we're good, we get the kill, we move back immediately, we get our talent, they're on the back foot.
For me,
going.
If how the heroics interacted, if we had Diablo go first after the Dragon's Arrow, push them into the turret, and then have the Gravity Lapse come afterwards, that could have been a kill, right? It's all about that timing and who is the first one to lead in. It's all about the rhythm, the domino effect, right? So, again, things Roll20 can work on, and again, they're getting there. It's just right now, Team Liquid is just on another level.
But, I mean, it looks at least better from Roll20. From their perspective. I mean, when you look towards Team Liquid, I think right now they're having a few moments where they overstep a bit too much, which is also understandable given how the last 2 games went, where they have just incredible execution, way above of what we are seeing from Roll20. So right now they're trying to push the agenda even a bit more, trying to go in and see if they can get that keep at that bot lane, for example. But their sync is still good. And they got the kill against Diablo at the bot lane, which actually was surprising to me. I really felt that Roll20 overchased a bit too much there. That was a kill after Stitches fell. I was like, okay, take the win right there. Stitches is down. Now, all of a sudden, you're in a 5 versus 4 on the map. If you can chase someone, get another kill, that's great. But at the same time, that map control you established at that point, use it. Get camps. Try and get out. Soak those lanes. Make sure that you're at even experience when you head into the next objective. And if you get a bit more lane pressure by taking camps, all the better.
Especially when you have that first layer of defense down like Team Liquid has on that bottom side. Middle keep also has taken a little bit of damage here now. It looks like Christy Seedney is on his way back in, getting figured out right now. Very, very close to being straight into the game, and we'll get that all figured out. Things that Team Liquid, however, do have as a weakness that we can continue to focus on is it seems like there are moments when they have opened the map like you're taken the map control, moved forward, or they go for a major core rush or try to go for a kill in between 2 keeps. Those small things are what has stopped them from winning some series in the past, so they need to approach those with some caution in the future.
But I feel like their shot calling has drastically moved. I mean, let's not forget, they switched the shot caller over. They're making a lot of adjustments. I mean, when things started to go a bit sour for them. In phase 1, they started to switch their shot calling over to Eternal, and ever since then, it has massively improved. Now they realize at the Western Clash that they have still some problems with researching properly for an opponent, what lessons to take from that, what to focus on when they're trying to exploit weaknesses and strategy on an opposing team, and in the drafting. So now all of a sudden it's Arcana that does a lot of that. And it really feels like every single adjustment they make shows results and makes them stronger as a team, and that makes them very, very terrifying in the current setup. Even the rolls for Nurok, for example.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example. Like, he's just completely killing it on the support.
Just goes to show when you're able to find a 5-man team of dedicated players, what you can perform, right? If you're willing to adjust and adapt on the fly. Now, as we head back into the game, Team Liquid has re-established that control we were looking for. Roll20 Esports is attempting to get 16, and they will grab the fort in the bottom lane to get set 16. As they prepare to defend this big push in the top lane.
Yeah, this was one of the decisions where they look at the objective and they're saying, guys, there is absolutely no way that we can engage into an objective fight on 16 talents, because now it's too late. You already have Team Liquid with 20 of those minion stacks. The rotation would take a little bit more time. Your opponent has an Alexstrasza, can pop Dragon Form. So the best course of action for Roll20 was the one they took. They went into the bot lane and said, we need to get experience so that we have level 16 for the defense. It's all that we can do right now. We are in a defensive position. Let's accept that and just make sure that the defense is as good as it gets.
Team Liquid now begins the push with a total of 5 members and a Punisher to back him up, and it's an Arcane Punisher at that. Roll20 Esports will set up for defense. Team Liquid did open that turret on the left side, so they can work on opening this gate or this side wall and try to follow up. Is full engaged by the Punisher.
And here comes the AoE already. So keep in mind, we have Hyperion also available on the side of Team Liquid, and they're going to try and use that if they see a chance to go for the keep, and here it comes. Very good engage here again by Zarmany after Robodoba gets hooked. And the bunker keeps Diablo alive for a bit longer. Stage dive onto the point here right away as everybody else gets zoned in the back. And again, Diablo far out here as we're seeing all the displacement coming into play for Team Liquid. The kill against the frontliner, and this time he's down for the count.
That was so unfortunate for Robodoba. Sportbilly fainted twice as if he was going to throw out a hook, and it looked like he wasn't going to follow through with it as the Punisher started to get focused. And then on a third feint, he finally turned around and threw out that hook and landed on Diablo. And from there, it was all about control as Team Liquid showed how much CC they have. But here's some lockdown on Sportbilly.
Yeah, actually a really nice combo setup that we saw against Stitches. That did a ton of damage. I mean, we still had Alexstrasza trying to take care of the situation immediately, and Billy throws out another hook right after. But that could have been a potential kill. If Diablo's alive there, he goes down.
They have a Magic helping out there, and of course the heal's coming in from Nurok. Next objective is this fort. Gonna take it out.
I really liked, I mean, we had a lot of pressure against Diablo in the last fight with ETC pushbacks, with hooks coming out.
Yeah.
But the follow-ups that we saw from Blaze to try and use that as going in were actually working out. Good arrow coming through, but it's just not enough.
It's Stitches. You just don't have the major kill potential. Sure, you have that level 7 burn flesh for KT, but they're not finding the moments.
There was just no follow-up there. They were a little bit too far away. They're trying to break through that line, though, and there's a ton of damage coming out of Chris, but is it enough to really get a kill? They get at least the camp, and that's already a huge win. Liquid is, of course, very much in the know about their level 1 advantage, or the 1 level advantage, and so they're trying to use that towards the next objective instead of taking fights they don't have to take now.
I do like that Roll20 attempted to fight in that bottom right corner because of how much AoE they have. They're so great in that choke. You have Flame Strikes flying out, you have arrows flying out, you have Lightning Breath if your opponents do force. Team Liquid fully realizing that, kite it backwards and it's played off hooks.
It's a really bad spot, especially with 16 Kel'Thas having Fury of the Sunwell now for the second explosion. And I mean, talking about Kel'Thas, currently is sitting at 38 globes here. Also, when we're talking about quests in general, 67 on Black Soulstone now, so we're currently waiting for Diablo to be really tanky again. Liquid is just playing for 20. They're playing the safe. They have 6 kills against 3, but they know that this game can still turn.
Oh my.
Great hook again, and the immediate follow-up against Shad, but the bunker saves it.
Bunker saves it. Here comes an arrow across the map, though. Bam!
Big
Connects on 2, and if they can follow up that Flame Strike, there it is. ETC falls. Here's the Lightning Breath next, as Team Liquid loses 1. Zarmany gets hooked in and may have been taken out, but thanks to a jet propulsion is able to get away.
Yeah, we see just Shad trying to keep everyone alive with Whitebait, but that was a fantastic kill. And again, these arrows are connecting. This is like the 3rd long-distance arrow that we've seen from Quacknix in this game that just hits home hard, and that was the beginning of the end for ETC. And this is actually a fantastic spot now for this objective. They're going to have a small lead here going into it.
But Team Liquid, with 20 seconds for no ETC to be up, can decide to give up this objective if they want to.
Keep in mind he has stage dive, so he will be there, and it is ready. So he's not going to lose a lot of travel time.
They won't have 20, so it is a decision that they have to make. They will have the top lane pushing in. Remember, they have catapults there as well as a night camp, so defense is very possible for them. But Team Liquid already stepping up and starting to move in with ETC spawning in 3 seconds.
Yeah, and Roll20 wants this. A lot of the heroics are back up, but not all of them. Early Dragon Queen already popped by Nurok, really trying to control that space now. All right, ETC comes in. Doesn't really hit too much here. Shat already, a bit of damage. Big push at the top lane. Roll20 needs to flip the switch here soon, and they do.
They're starting to step up, but the big wolf comes out. Robodoba and Zarmi trying to hold that front line, trying to find a target, but Hasselhoff is playing safe. If Robodoba goes in, Diablo will be too far. Quack already heading back home. He has to defend. 36 of the minions have banked up by Roll20, and they're looking to grab another one. There it is. They'll get the Punisher.
Punisher is taken, and he's just taking down the catapults. Takes one down, goes for the second, and now they're going to try and push with this. But of course, Liquid, they want the 20 now. With Storm Talons, they have an easier time defending, but this is a moment where Roll20 can try and find some value. What's the call here? Not going for the bot lane pressure. Chris staying close to the Punisher, but still on the mount. And instead, they're just saying, okay, guys, we only bought us some time. Let's get 20. Let's just accept that we cannot risk this. Not against Stitches. Not against Stitches ETC.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Without them knowing where Stitches was at the moment, they decided to go with the safe play. No one oversteps. That fishing hook on 16, too much of a threat. Team Liquid will be able to defend middle and bottom. Soak their level 20. Roll20 actually gets 20 before them.
Yeah, it's a smart call to make. If you're going up against Sport Willy with Stitches and those long fishing hooks, and you know how many CCs are being stacked on their side whenever a target is acquired, then you know you can't push in with this. Instead, give Team Liquid the free defense, but you are back in the game. You all of a sudden have your own level 20, and that's actually huge for them. So the only disadvantage for Roll20 is really that top keep that they lost earlier, but that was a good call.
Level 20 coming online. KT getting that flamethrower, which of course increases the range of flame strike. And also the cooldown if you land on multiple members. So we're going to be having fire flying like crazy. And so far the plan for Roll20 has been shown with these cross-map arrows. If you can land 2 to 3 members in that Dragon's Arrow and you have flame strike follow up afterwards, you will see Chris dish out the damage.
And to be honest with you, I mean, if you look at what Roll20 has with the Hellstorm right now, and also them going straight into Judgment Day with like flamethrower being taken here. They just also add a lot more damage to that entire setup that is really hinging on them getting AoE damage out on the shrine controls. The next battle for an objective is going to be a big one. And honestly, it's in a great spot for Roll20 because the next one is very likely to end the game no matter what. That's how late we are in the game. But because the next shrine spawns at the top lane, it will give Roll20 an easy defense on any incoming catapult. So they're not going to be in a situation where they have to divide their attention between an objective and a core defense.
Now with that being said, Blessing of the Red has been picked by Team Liquid, so getting that extra health on every single target. They also have their own AoE shields with level 20 coming online for Thrall as he moves into the Earthen Shield. So 50% of their maximum health becomes a shield immediately afterwards if they are near him when he pops Earthquake. So Team Liquid, while there is a lot of AoE damage and lockdown for Roll20 Esports, they do have survivability. Arrow
comes in. They're actually trying to go for it here, but nice move blocking Robodoba as he tries to engage with Diablo. Big kill potentially against Sport Billy and Arcana here, but both of them walk away for now. Fantastic defense here by Liquid that could have backfired so hard, and now they're trying to re-engage.
Gotta call out Nurok. Sport Billy comes over and gets a hook, though. It's gonna be straight onto Chris. He'll pop his Mana Addict and try to survive, but he has been deleted by Raynor, and now Team Liquid, they are on the chase. They smell blood in the water.
This was a perfect opportunity for Roll20 to get a kill, but instead it's Team Liquid that keeps everyone alive and turns it around. The hook connects with Roba, and that's going to be the end of Diablo, and this should be the end of the game in the long run. Diablo losing all of his souls makes him into a harmless kitty instead of a lot of terror, and Liquid isn't even done chasing yet.
Team of Liquid continuing to chase. Quack as Zarmny being the only ones left. Whitemane has gotten pretty far away, so she shouldn't be landing a hook there. But Team Liquid, as you mentioned, can make a play for the game.
And that last fight, it really felt to me, if they don't focus on Arcana, but they shift the target to Stitches, who was incredibly low and way closer than Reyna, they get the kill. It really felt to me, if you get that one kill, all of a sudden you have it. I was surprised that they actually forced the engage in the first place, But when they did, it looked good. And to be honest, that was even with Stitches blocking the path onto Reina, which was the target in the first place. But if they just shifted, they all of a sudden have a 5 versus 4 going for them.
It was a close one, because at the same time, too, Raynor was this close from falling, too. You got to call out Nurok landing that life bender, falling straight up into the Dragon Queen, getting out all the important nails, and the slight sidestep by Arcaner allowed him to survive.
Absolutely. There were also a great amount of plays on the other side. But right now, you know, it's just Hook City. Hook after hook. Diablo already doesn't have the hit anymore. And Spot Billy, he just doesn't care anymore. I mean, this is just for the fans at this point. They are already in an amazing spot. Who needs a Shrine and a Punisher if you can simply go for core right away?
That Fleabag, man. Sonaruda gives that a 6-second cooldown reduction, brought out another hook, and Team Liquid, with the hooks flying out, are able to move in and start hitting the core, and this will be lights out for Roll20 if they can't hold. Big flamethrower coming out, though, and burn flesh.
Where did that come from?
Chris.
Nice kill here against Reina, not even popping the Hyperion. Is that bringing them back? 1 down, 2 about to respawn, but Liquid still with 4 versus 3 on the map for now, and the early access towards the Shrine. Pressure in the mid lane through the camp. Should threaten the keep in the long run, but does it matter? It's all about ending the game.
10 seconds for Diablo to be back. He will be low on
Anso
souls.
has a global, more or less. He has a play of the game, so you can send that out.
Team Liquid needs to spread out and prepare for that. We're really looking for more Horks. Hasselhoff's even there, ready to follow up with a whoop if he needs to.
I mean, it's still going to be rough, but Roll20 all of a sudden has a chance. Okay, Hanzo is there. Diablo comes back. Hanzo waits for an arrow. Doesn't get for one immediately, and Liquid might have to give this one up.
Look at the bottom, though. Big wave going in. Okay, Hanzo can clear that up thanks to that play of the game.
Yeah. He's thinking about it. I think they're just accepting that they're going to lose it. They're going to try and get the Punisher and end with it. That's definitely what they're doing here. They want to go for Punisher and end the game. They know that fight is the important one. Here comes the hook. Arrow comes through, hits ETC, they're going in. The bunker's on the ground and ETC is the target, immediately jumping onto him. Lifebinder once again moving in as we have Nurok saving Eternal, but the position still taken as Roll20 is trying to zone out Team Liquid.
Is it going to be enough? Roll20 trying to escape. Zarmi is the target. He gets hooked in. He tries to jet propulsion out. He's so low on health. How is he still alive? ETC comes in with a stage dive. Eternal helping get the kill. Shad will be the next target. Power slide in into the knockback. Shad getting focused down. And Team Liquid waits for Raynor. They use patience and they're able to turn the fight around.
They take down 2 and they are body blocking Roba Doba into oblivion. Still only on 31 souls. Not enough HP to sustain himself through that. Not even with a wall bump here. He's gonna fall. That's a stagger death. Hanzo makes his way into the middle, trying to at least get a keep here for them. But that top lane Punisher should definitely end the game here. Team Liquid a bit late, but they are again on their way towards the core.
Poor Billy already leading that charge. Couple of flame strikes coming out from KT, but it's all for naught. Team Liquid has the Punisher and it's barreling down this top lane, heading straight for the core.
Yeah, Stitch is showing the moves here. A little bit of Fugic Bile around the core makes it all the more pretty. Quarknix, another arrow here. But yeah, this is going to be it. The Punisher already moving in. Quark at least got the keep in the middle, but that's of course it as the core is falling. The shields are gone, HP down to 50. Team Liquid moving in to secure themselves a 3-0 victory over Roll20 Esports.
Team Liquid shutting down Roll20 today. Game number 3, Roll20 showed some fight, but there wasn't enough gas in the tank. Unable to get a victory over Team Liquid, and they'll fall 3-0. But Team Liquid, Week 6, Week 7, delivering on all fronts if you're a Team Liquid fan.
And Roba Doba getting bullied in this game. 6 deaths on Diablo. That's half the deaths of him, of the team. Hook's responsible for a large part. But yeah, there were definitely a few moments where Roll20, with slightly better coordination, could have gotten an important kill before an important objective. And this is a game where I could have totally seen Roll20 winning several times. There were multiple opportunities where they were so close of winning a decisive team fight that might have given them a lead to win the actual game. Way more competitive than map number 1 and map number 2, and way more what I expected from the series. Which leaves me in a bit of a weird spot. Is that something where Roll20 is saying like, okay, that last game redeems it for us? We could finally bring into play what we tried in scrims? Because, again, how realistic is a victory against Team Liquid?
Yeah.
They said they want to see the improvement, and on map 1, map 2, they got heavily shut down. Wasn't even competitive. But map 3 is what we're looking for, right? Map 3 is definitely when, if you can play like this against Liquid, you should be able to perform better against other teams, as for example, Granite Gaming, who themselves struggled against Liquid without taking a map.
I mean, you get a couple wins, get a couple stars in the sky, but where's the moon? Where's the big victory from them right now? Because they're 0-9 now, right? We're moving in to Crucible in a couple of weeks, and it's just a matter of that improvement. Is it enough to be an open division team? And that's where it becomes a question.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like, you can't look at the match record.
Sure, you can.
It's absolutely insane to think that they can take the match against Liquid. That only happens if Liquid has a horrible, horrible day and Roll20 has an amazing day at the same time. That's unrealistic, I think. I feel for me it comes down to, which they also said in the interview, how do the games look? And I feel if every single game of this series, if it's a 3-0, but every single game looks like the last one, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it.
But they don't look like the last one. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the problem. You have game 1, game 2. So where do you stand? You show in game 3 that you can make it work, but game 1, game 2 are not even competitive. So is that something where they say like that third game redeemed us a little bit? This is what we're talking about, or is that?
I guess you could focus on the positives, right? And when you're in a situation where you're losing so much, maybe focusing on the positive is the best route. And say, look, game 1 and game 2, we made some major mistakes. Game 1, we had a couple of kills. We didn't expect Tychus enough. Game 3, let's focus on that, and let's try to find repeat success as we go in the next couple of weeks. But the thing is it's not getting easier for them. Next week, they go against Method, and then the week after that, they go into Granite Gaming. And that's their first attempt at going against an opponent that they can have on a level footing, especially when it comes to standings.
It's also the constant bans that they have against Dragonshire. It just makes them very predictable in that sense. And it doesn't give you wiggle room against an opponent where you say, hey, Liquid excels on a map that is a bit snowbally where we have trouble, so we ban that out against them. So it, of course, gives you... It's always this trade-off, right? If you practice every single map that is in the pool, you spread yourself out a lot more thinner. If you do ban one map consistently, which a lot of teams do, you can focus with your practice a lot more on the maps that are still there, but you have less ability to be flexible in the way that you are approaching every single weekend or match that you have. So they ban out Dragonshire very consistently, but so they can't go up against an opponent like Team Liquid and say, we struggle with a map where our opponent can snowball us through the early game, so we can't ban that out.
Speaking of Team Liquid, as we continue through the next couple of weeks, is Thrall going to be a main focus for a lot of teams? Because granted, Thrall was taken away in one of the games today in the best of 3 series, but whenever Thrall comes up, that multiple melee composition comes in, and Team Liquid has rehearsed it. They are showing that they can earn victories with it.
I mean, again, we're coming back to the Eastern Clash. Hugely dominant. Thrall just popping up more and more, being played with a lot of Sundering. Earthquake also still coming through. I feel a lot of other teams are also going to start and dabble a little bit more in him, just to see, okay, where we at with this. But Liquid has already shown that preference for Thrall even before the Western Clash. So they really like to play Thrall in their lineup. Just now it got even more emphasized through it being such a huge part in the Korean meta. And it works out well for Team Liquid, and some other teams are definitely going to try bring Thrall back. But I would say that it's going to find that middle ground where it balances itself out.
Well, let's go ahead and move over to Nurok, who is ready to talk for Team Liquid as they get a 3-0 victory over Roll20 Esports. Team Liquid, congratulations on your win, Nurok, as you grab a 3-0. But I got to ask you, were you starting to worry a little bit towards the end there on Infernal Shrines?
Yes, actually, we kind of got over ourselves a bit, I would say. Like, we were like, oh, yeah, it's already won. And then we played a bit shaky and we made some mistakes and they abused it pretty well. Like, if we play it clean, I think we should have just won straight up like we did the first 2 maps.
I got to shout out you out. In the end there on Front Front's bottom right keep, Raynor was engaged upon with a Dragon's Arrow, and he was incredibly close to death, and you saved him. What was going through your mind through that entire fight, and how did you save him?
Well, I kind of stayed out of vision because I thought they would try a desperation move, and then I just popped all my cooldowns on him immediately. But I actually I played the last game the worst, I would say, personally, because I messed up some life binders. I could have saved people. So yeah, the third game is also a bit on me. If I played better, we probably win much cleaner.
Nurok always looking at the negative. You played really well, man. Continue to get better, obviously, but congratulations to you. I'm going to send you over to Caldor, buddy.
It's like I've heard that sentence before, always focusing on the negative. Okay, so first of all, congratulations, you guys look great, but I want to just jump straight into it. Is it the changes in drafting that we've seen through Arcana that really help you guys look this dominant right now? That not only the individual skill and the synergy is there, but now also the strategy is improved?
I like we got more consistent for sure in terms of drafting and practice. I would definitely say that, and we're also way more decisive. Like we used to overthink stuff in terms of preparation and drafting months or weeks ago, and now we are actually like, okay, I get this, it's fine. We just play our own game. It's completely fine. But you also have to consider we have only played Granite Gaming and Zealots and not one of the big horses so far. So yeah, we are playing against Ignis on Sunday, and we will see how that goes.
But you guys looked very dominant in the games that you played. I mean, outside of a few shaky moments in the last map, which you also won, you dominated game 1, game 2. Is that something where you say, okay, this is at least what we expected, where you are happy with the performance? Or is it really just, okay, these are games where we're supposed to win anyways, let's not really overthink that and just focus on the big opponents? How do you guys approach these matches?
So if you're playing against a lower or mid-tier team, we have a bit more pressure on ourselves because we obviously don't want to lose, and we cannot afford losing to them because we want to go to BlizzCon and buy standings if we can manage to do that. So like if we are going into it, like actually we were a bit more worried about Granite Gaming. I think they have been looking much better so far. But going into the series against their lots, we kind of only assumed that they might want to cheese us or we are just playing worse. I think that was the only way we could have lost the series, or like we probably assumed that we could drop one map, I guess, but we should definitely win the series against both of those teams.
Talking about the game against Dignitas, what are your expectations for that match? Is that something where you say, okay, we want to take a couple of maps here, or do you think that this is actually a series where you can say Dignitas might look like they are unbeatable, but we are actually going to take them down?
So Dignitas is Dignitas, obviously. They are like the Titan right now, which still has to bleed so far, but like there is no pressure on our shoulders. Like if we take the series, it would be very, very great for us. But at the same time, if we are losing it, like we are not gonna blame ourselves and tilt into oblivion. So we are losing all remaining series after that. That will not for sure not happen. We are going to play our best on Sunday, and we will see how it goes. But winning the series against Ignis, that's like we cannot plan for that. If it happens, it happens. That's what I would say.
Definitely looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Last question for you, Nurok, before I let you go. Today, you showcased a Tychus pickup, actually. Your team, where did that come from? He's one of my favorite niche heroes. When he works, he works. I want to know what made it work for you guys.
So, like Tychus, he is a bit forgotten right now. He is a decent range DPS, especially with Odin and all that stuff. But especially paired with Garrosh and Stukov in best case, he is actually very, very deadly because you just do a EQ combo on none of the frontliners, and then, like, in theory, the frontliner should die, and I'm pretty sure he should almost always die unless we have something like Ufa. Like, it is just very, very straight up good synergy, and if you can pair the Tychus with the Garrosh, he is actually really, really good, I would say.
Well, thank you for showing him off today. That was a great game at number 1. I'm going to go ahead and let you go so you can focus on your big match on Sunday against Team Dignitas. But before you go, you got to give us shout-outs.
So shout out to my team that we managed to win the series in that fashion, which we did. Shout out to our sponsors, Alienware, HyperX, and shout out to our very great organization, Team Liquid. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the awesome bootcamp you have been providing for us in LA. We love you guys. And also shout out to Twitch chat. I think you guys are not that mean anymore to us, so you guys are awesome as well.
Oh, Twitch chat does have a kind heart. Being nice to Team Liquid. Odd how that works when they start winning. They're nice to them.
Yeah.
Might be something there. I don't know.
Twitch does have a nice heart to the teams that are winning all of a sudden.
All right, big victories coming in for Team Liquid as they get a 3-0 over Roll20 Esports. Up next, Dignitas coming out, and they'll be facing off against Granite Gaming. So that'll be a series you got to stay tuned for. We'll be right back. This is the HGC.